John here from JCH Design and Build. Just here just to review my sort of prototype of a saw bench that I've sort of jigged up in the last couple of days. And what I've got is I've got the Festal drop saw here, the bigger one, which is the KS 120 REB, and that actually sits on this point here. Just been testing out a few cuts, things a bit dusty. So what it is, you've got three pieces. You've got the right hand piece, which starts from this point there and finishes off at the end of that, and then the same thing across the right hand side, which starts from that point and goes across the face. It's about 2.4 meters in length, and on top of that I've put some aluminium, like an aluminium fence with the Incra T track there, and also just jigged up a stop here where it is adjustable. Just loosen the handle up the top there, slide it left, right, centre. You know, I can actually get it to around about 1400, you know, probably go a little bit more until the actual thing starts dropping out of its T-track slot. The track's only 1200 long, so I could have bought a couple more, but I just decided not to. And most of my cuts are shortcuts, so I'm not really fussed, and any longer cuts I'll probably end up putting a sort of like clamp across the face here, a block at say 2.3, or even just extend another section across this area here as well. So this piece here is pretty simple. It's just got a bolt with a bit of a what have we got here? We've got this timber section here which sort of slots in the T-slot track, and just a couple of bolts. This part here, that the gold part, that was actually a that was a door handle that I used. So that goes in there. Just got to find the slot where it's going to slot in nicely there. So there it is. So that just slots to distance, and I can go up to around about, you know, the 300, maybe even 290mm mark, or 280 at the most, because what I got here between the two Incra tracks, the drop saw, the Festal drop saw actually sits nice and tight across there and there, which is probably a good thing. And yeah, so it's pretty simple. Now the only other different things that I've done here is I've made the base where the drop saw would sit on. Mind you, I've got three different types of drop saws. I've got the Festal, and I've got a couple of Makitas as well. So all the heights vary. So what I've done is I've created a bolt system where you've got your base, which is also supported by this aluminium track that runs underneath. That's been screwed on from the top, just to create a bit of a stiffness and stability on this board, because it's only a ply. The whole thing's constructed by a ply, which is very light. I thought I'll make it as light as possible, because if I have to take it out on site, I've got a bit of, you know, not carrying around a large drop saw bench, because otherwise it gets a bit too heavy to move around. So what I've got here, I've got the nut, a thread that goes all the way from top to bottom, a nut there, and a nut on the bottom which tightens this top board, and then I've got a nut on this other board with an adjustable plastic thread on front. So I've got two at the front, and the other two are right down the back there. So if I need to adjust the base at a certain height, depending on my height of my drop saw, I would loosen the two of the bottom nuts on all the four corners, and then I'll just raise, loosen the bottom threads as well, the plastic threads, and then I'll just wind these down to the height that I require. And then once I've done all that, then I tighten all these plastic threads back to the board, and that would make this top board, you know, to a specific height based on the height of your of the drop saw. Another thing that I've sort of decided to do as well is to make it a bit more, a lot easier to, you know, throw on the back of the vehicle, on top of the vehicle, and you know, take it to site. So what I've done is I've put these hold down brackets, which I picked up for about $8 each, I think, from memory. And there's 2 at the front there, and there's also 2 at the back on each corner, on each base. So I've got another 2 more there on the other side, which is the left-hand side. So there's the other one. And then once that's all loosened off, then I can quite easily pick up the unit, drag it away, and you know, then I've got 3 sections. I've got that, the other one is also identical, and then the base of the where the drop saw would sit, I've got a board that runs all the way through up to that point there. Again, that's 2.4 in length, and it's screwed down to some aluminium tubing, front and back. The back one's right underneath there. You can probably see it. There you go. And that's what it sort of looks like from the bottom. And that's what we look like from underneath. So, you know, I hope it does work. Obviously I've created all these cutout slots here just so that way I can throw in my drills and, you know, power chargers and bits and pieces that, you know, that you may need, instead of having them laying on top of the bench, because I found that, you know, all these other benches don't give you that any room, you know. So you've got all your cabling and tube and battery chargers, etc., either laying on the floor or hanging off the edge of your bench, which sort of becomes a bit of a nuisance. That's my sort of prototype of a bench saw. Hopefully this sort of might give others some sort of inspiration and get out and make their own, because I do believe I've used it a couple of times just here in the factory, and so far it's worked out pretty well. Thanks for watching, guys.